Alright guys, 2.443 billion. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys some of the adjustments that I've made and some of the things that I have learned over the past few days that I've been testing out the guild boss. You saw my previous post when I changed the lineup. So here, I'm going to teach you guys what to do with your lineup and when to choose. Like you notice, I'm not using Ana Ruiz anymore. Sometimes I'm using her. What has changed and when do I use her, when do I not use her. So I'm gonna discuss all of those in this video. Yeah, I think I can reach 2.5 billion, but I also think that it's gonna be very difficult at this point. I need some advancements and I need some blessing stones. And just real quick guys, we still have thousands of codes to give away, like essence stones here, 1k 500 essence stones. So if you haven't got one yet, all you have to do is to support me and I will send the codes every few hours. And just a quick shout out to all our supporters. We are now ranked number 6. Wow, we have 750 supporters. Really appreciate it guys. Quite unexpected, to be honest. I'm just a small creator. Thanks so much guys. This would help me a lot and this would help me continue doing what we're doing. Again, thanks so much. Let's go. Alright guys, for Jinwoo, it's still gonna be the same as we did before. If you haven't watched my previous videos on this strategy, I highly recommend that you do. We're not gonna talk about that anymore in this video. So nothing changed here. For the compositions, let me just show you real quick what I did here in the compositions, as well as the items. It's very important because I've seen huge increase with some minor adjustments on the artifacts as well as the team composition. So this is now the team composition that we're using. Let's go about this one by one. So our team A is still gonna be the same: Cha, GUNHEE, and Maylin Fisher. Already discussed this in the previous video. Not gonna discuss this anymore. I'm just gonna show you guys what I adjusted here. So for Maylin Fisher, we accidentally discovered this actually. So first things first, why are we using the palace set now instead of the one-hit kill set? So the activation condition is to receive a shield. Accidentally, we have discovered that a guardian set is actually one of the best armor sets to use here for all teams. Okay, for all teams. And that's because, not because there are shielders in each team, but because this golden meadow actually provides shield every 3 seconds. So this is a 15-second duration. Once you cast it, you're gonna get shield, and it doesn't matter if Hansemi is in a different team. Anyone who gets a shield, if the team has a guardian set, then they're pretty much gonna be able to activate that effect. Okay, again, the activation condition is when you use, or in other terms, when you receive a shield. So that's why a 15 seconds duration keeps on proccing this shield every 3 seconds. So the cooldown of this skill is 30 seconds. By the end, if you receive it, if you receive the shield, then you're pretty much gonna have 10 seconds duration of the guardian set damage increase. So you might be wondering, well, what if the enemy moves? Well, that's the thing. You gotta know how to control the location of the fight. There is some sort of an RNG factor here as well, but most of the time the hunters are gonna be within the entire duration of the Golden Meadow skill. So that is why we already changed the setup in each party. We're gonna check them one by one again. So just to show you the stats of Team A, this is now my Chahi in. Weapon is A9. And attack is 23.4k. I have rebalanced them again with this light damage, damage increase 13%, crit damage here 184%. So everything here has been re-optimized and the numbers are where I want them to be. So for GUNHEE, this is now the stats. We got him to A5, although I didn't really feel much difference, to be honest, with the A5. Probably because the condition is to activate the ult, and since he cannot spam the ult without the one-hit kill set, then probably we're not gonna feel that critical damage 30% increase for the most part. But here's the stats: 22k def, 50% crit rate, crit damage is 175%, damage increases at 20%. So also re-optimized, but there are still some improvements that I want to make here. So light damage at 11.15%. Now let's go to team number 2, which is our win team right now. Let's just check. Hansemi here, now using the Angel in White, remove the one-hit kill set. Apparently, it's gonna get delayed because the power gauge acquisition will not be enough to be able to cast the ult immediately, even if the cooldown is shorter. So I kind of removed it and just used this one to buff Mireille Amamiya. And still running the Sylph set here. There you go. And for our Mireille, re-optimized as well with 2695 MP. Your target is 2500. Again, 50% crit, 180% crit damage, and 15% damage increase. With damage, she's at 10.54%. And by the way, she's still running the 4-piece expert and 4-piece curse. All DPS, all attack based units here, 4-piece curse, 4-piece experts. That's what I'm using. And for my Choi Jong-in, again, now I prefer one party to have a guardian set. So some people are using blessing set here, some people are using 8-piece curse, some probably one-hit kill, but here's what I'm using now. And the reason why I'm doing this is that 4-piece curse will add a bit more damage. Even though he's still at A2, he can deal around 50 to 60 M damage. I think it's gonna be a lot stronger if I once I level up the weapon, once I level up everything, and once I get to A5. But right now I'm kind of gatekeep because my Choi could not contribute in terms of damage. Skills at 777. So why I'm using this now again? So the maximum damage output of the 4-piece curse set is at around 30%. If you make it 8-piece, then the maximum damage output, I believe, is gonna be 50%. Okay, so if I do the 4-4, I'm gonna lose that 20% from the 8-piece set, but instead I'm gonna get this damage dealt increase, which is pretty much gonna be up most of the time if you manage to control the boss's movement, which is mostly gonna be controlled anyway if you're spamming your Shadow Steps and Moon Shadow and being able to predict where he's going. Okay, so instead of getting that 20% solo on the 8-piece curse set, now we have this. We lost 10% on Choi technically, but we can pass the damage on to Mireille Amamiya, which is also wearing 4-piece curse and 4-piece expert. So that's the idea there. And our Hansemi here, since she cannot really take advantage of the one-hit kill, it's a mistake that I even used that here. So I highly recommend that you change that as well. But yeah, so if there's no destroyer set user in the team, her cooldown is too long to be able to get enough power gauge, even if she does hit the opponent continuously. So I kind of remove that. So yeah, that's gonna be it for team number 2. And for team C, here's what we're using: Min, Libora, and Alicia. Okay, so one question that you might be asking is, firstly, let's go back to team A. GUNHEE, a lot of people are asking, when should you use like 4-piece? Is it better to use 4-piece Warmonger, 4-piece grid, 4-piece grid, 4-piece curse, or 8-piece grid? All right. So it's situational, and the reason is, for example, you can buff the team with 30% critical hit damage on a crit rate. If your Chai is not strong enough to be able to take advantage of this by increasing her damage, and if your GUNHEE is strong in such a way that the trade-off on the buffs will be much bigger than using the 8-piece grid set, then you can use the 4-piece curse, 4-piece grid. So it's situational, because let's say, for example, your Chahain is not that strong yet. Like if Chahain's damage is at 500 M and GUNHEE's damage is at 400 M, then obviously if you add that 15% crit damage hit, which is gonna be diminished because Chahain also already has a lot of crit damage percentage, probably not gonna be worth it. But if you add like 4-piece curse with a good stats with 4-piece grid, then you might be able to see a net positive on that. Because in my case, even if I change this into a better stats 8-piece curse, 4-piece curse, 4-piece grid, then I add like 80 M to 100 M on GUNHEE's damage, but I lost around the same amount on Chahain. So it's kind of pointless, alright? Because it's also important, the crit rate is also important, especially for GUNHEE. Doesn't have crit on his kit, and as well as the crit damage, not diminished by a lot because he doesn't have much crit damage from his kit, unlike Chahi. So it's situational, but generally I'll just use the 8 piece just to keep things simple, and I think my Chahi in is already strong enough to be able to get a net positive from the buff alone. And of course, during the breaking, this might help as well. Alright, so now for Team C, we're using this now. Min is using the Guardian set. Okay, so they're gonna be able to take advantage of Hansemi's Golden Meadow, but they also have a shielder on their team, which pretty much secures the damage bonus. And one hit kill again, probably not good. I really think the power gauge is getting late. Like, the acquisition of power gauge is much slower than the cooldown itself, so it was kind of pointless back then. And there are other options here, but I just use this so that 2 units will benefit. And because I already transitioned Libora to another DPS with these stats, there you go, using 4-piece Curse and 4-piece Expert set as well. And my Alicia is this one, 21k attack, 50% crit rate. So again, re-optimized. Most of the numbers here are where I want them to be, although I want less death penetration, probably add more on the damage increase or attack. But anyway, still good numbers. She can deal good amounts of damage, and she also benefits from the crit rate and crit damage and bonus damage buff of Min Byung-gu. And they don't die easily as well. So yeah, that's Team C. Now, one question that you might ask is that, why did you use Alicia instead of Ana Ruiz? I can actually use Ana Ruiz, but here's the thing. Okay, same concept with GUNHEE and Chahi. If the poison's damage output or the overall contribution of Ana Ruiz is X amount, and Alicia's contribution in terms of damage is also this X amount, if they're same, you can use either of the two. But if Alicia is stronger, like can deal like 300 plus M damage, but if you add, for example, Ana Ruiz, you get like 250 million damage, then you're gonna use Alicia. So that will depend also on the progress of your Alicia, whether or not the damage output contribution is gonna be net positive. So how did I know that I should not use Ana Ruiz this time? Well, just remove it and then do a couple of runs with this lineup, and you'll see the average points that you're gonna get. Then you're gonna see how much impact Ana Ruiz is gonna give the team, and you cross-check that with Alicia on the team as well. So in my case, my Alicia is already strong enough to actually out damage Ana Ruiz's contribution with that poison decrease. So there will be cases that you want to use Ana Ruiz, and that's if you have like really strong DPSs, other DPSs. I've seen cases like that wherein Choi can deal like 150M, 200M, and Chai in GUNHEE can deal a lot more damage. Then you can use Ana Ruiz. Okay, but in my case, they are just about equal, like almost equal. The two of the Alicia and Ana Ruiz are almost equal in terms of the overall contribution to the total damage. So you gotta know that as well. You don't just copy the entire thing, and there are some people that say like, oh, this lineup doesn't work, this lineup you don't just copy the lineup, but you need to understand the concept behind it and adapt it on your own lineup. We have different stats, we have different artifacts, we have different advancements. So you can actually even do this, you can do this, or probably even do something like this. I also tried this, pretty much ended up with the same damage as well. So this one is the easiest for me, I think. So yeah, you can even do something like this. Like, we have different stats, you gotta know which of your unit will have the most impact and which unit you should focus on, because some of you guys probably have like an A10 Alicia and an A5 A3 Chahi, for example. It's all gonna be situational in every team, but here's the framework. You guys just do your own thing, try to gauge your unit's capability. So that's gonna be it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you learned something. If you want to stay updated, I will be releasing another video which is gonna be gameplay focused. I'm gonna share you some tricks. It's gonna share you how you can optimize your gameplay so that you can maximize your points as well. So yeah, if you want to watch the replay, here it is. Let's go.